Welcome back. I don't know about your childhood, but as for me in my house, we loved a glass of Kool-Aid. And apparently, so did Ja Morant growing up in South Carolina. Morant and Kool-Aid announced a collaboration on his Ja 2s, the Ja 2 Kool-Aid colorway, also known as the Mixed Berries colorway. Morant gifted pairs of that colorway to the Jet Academy at the Nike EYBL AAU tournament at the Memphis Sports and Events Center this weekend. But they are not the only ones. Drew Hill was also gifted a pair of Ja 2 Mixed Berries. Drew, now the envy of the internet, he's got the marketing with him, the package that it came in. Drew, can you please explain to me what you got here and kind of how this happened?
Yeah, okay. Well, first of all, let me just say this. I did not ask for these.
Yeah, for sure.
This is not
an ad. This is not an endorsement.
Ad. I'm not, none of that. I think what happened was Nike had my address and shoe size from when Ja released the Ja 1s, and we went and did a thing with Ja to learn about the process of them making a shoe, and I wrote a long feature story just about the process of how the Ja 1s got made with, all of the ideas that went in behind it and that entire process. And so I got home the other day. I noticed I had a big cardboard box sitting on my doorstep. I opened it up, and it is this, which is obviously a promotional item with the shoes in it. The packaging, just a moment for the packaging.
Let's see,
right
hold that up. Hold that
right
up.
Here.
Like right there on the Cam 5. Yeah, there it is.
See that? They have Ja Morant facts here, and I'll read a couple. You've got explosiveness 100 drafted. You got his year drafted. His vertical leap 44 inches. Controversy occasional.
Occasional, yeah.
Aura off the charts. Handles elite. Clutch factor 110%. So this obviously was. I get a lot of promotional items because I was at one point an NBA awards voter, and so people try to promote their products and. As I said to you earlier before we got on air here, just like DVD players with the Raptors logo and life-size posters of Jokic and like comic books with Utah Jazz players, like the teams.
Stuff you will never use another day in your life.
Stuff you'll never use another day in your life. This is by far the best promotional item that has ever been sent.
Go ahead and bring them out. Let's bring them out. Let's see what we.
So first of all, in the top. We got to appreciate the
Oh, yeah.
And I also want to say to Kool-Aid, by the way, I hadn't drank Kool-Aid in like 15 years. After these showed up, I went, they put some packets in here.
A couple packs? Yeah,
I went and made Kool-Aid, and it was just as delicious as it was when I was younger. But here they are.
Yeah, let me hold that.
Glow-in-the-dark soles here. That's obviously pretty cool. The Nike swoosh is busting out of what appears to be a brick wall. So just like the Kool-Aid Man commercials, you've got the Kool-Aid Man on the tongue here, and then
it says, on the
my
inside,
favorite detail. You put them both in the shot together here. Here we go. Not a TV expert. Here on the inside of the the tongue. So obviously this was really cool. They were very popular. There was a pop-up at the EYBL event, as you guys showed, and that was great. These also released on.
Was it Friday? They come out on Friday?
On Friday on the Sneakers app, and so there was a rush to get those. Some people got lucky. And then from what I hear, it sounds like in July there may be the other colorway for the Ja Kool-Aid, the Kool-Aid Ja 2s. I think it's a purple and a red shoe in July. So if you missed these and you missed out on this opportunity, download the Sneakers app. You might be able to get the Kool-Aid Jaws in July when they come back around.
I still love some of the descriptions that are on the box here. Directions, I'm reading it from where I am. Bring a little Kool-Aid to your game with these fresh kicks. Stir up the action. Inspire with your moves and keep rising play after play. And then it says, this is a message from Ja. It all started with Kool-Aid at Grandma's house. Now every sip brings me back home. The Ja 2 Mixed Berry is my childhood joy, laced up in every pair. I know y'all got some Kool-Aid in here, so let's stir up a little action on the court, et cetera, et cetera. Where do you think this lands, or in terms of like Ja's marketing campaigns for these shoes? We remember when All-Star Weekend came around a couple of years ago. They had Mount Ja, right? The really big like icicle igloo scenario out there. Where do you think this kind of lands on that level?
I mean, these are great, obviously, and the details on these are so just specific, you
Yeah.
know, and I really like how personal it is, like even down to like some of the beading on the shoe to make this look like condensation, like a sweating pitcher or something, you know. So the details on this I think are really unmatched.
Wow, yeah.
Now the Mount 12, the initial release of the Ja sneakers was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And to me, it was more of a, I don't know, an experience versus these are obviously branding that everyone recognizes. The Mount 12 was something that if you were at All-Star Weekend in Salt Lake City, just walking around, you might see that on the street and be like, what the heck is
you're
that?
just, like, shocked.
You know, people were walking by like wanting to know what it was. So the Mount 12 was maybe a little bit more shocking. These I think are more personal and cool in that way. So yeah, I think these are some of my favorites, but I'm partial because I was very lucky to be there the day Ja met Ja Raff.
Yeah, those are good. Those are good ones.
That was one of my favorite stories I've ever written, and the Ja Raff Jaws are my favorite ones ever.
I remember we were in the locker room and he hadn't like unveiled the Ja Raffs yet, but the benefit of us being there night after night is we just kind of get to see some stuff that other people don't. And he actually brought out the Ja Raffs. And like as TV people, right, we all have our cameras.
Yeah,
and we're like, we're like, pick our cameras up to shoot whatever he's about to show us. He's like, whoa. This is exclusive. Like you got to put the cameras away. I can't show it to you yet. And he shows us the Ja Raff sneakers, and those were by far pretty cool. But it feels like every one of his colorways of his shoes feel like they have some kind of cool inspiration to them. He's got the personalized ones for the Kari. Some of those other things I think are really cool. What do you think this says about how Nike has really doubled and really now tripled down on their relationship with Ja? That he just announced the Ja 3s as well.
I mean, no matter what Ja has sort of faced here in his career, and no matter what people might think of him outside of the city, these shoes sell.
Yeah.
And Nike, in the end, has to run a business. Ja sells. He's electric on a basketball court.
Controversy sells, though.
Controversy sells.
Yeah.
He does things on the court that you don't see from other players across the league, period. You know, like players cannot play the way he plays. And so I think to have someone that is so unique, that has such a electricity to him, you know, that sells sneakers, excuse me. And I'll never forget one of my favorite days on the beat was when he was debuting the Jaws, and he was still, you know, they were still starting to come out, and he dunked on Jalen Smith in Indiana, and he said, "It's the Jaws, right?
It got to be the shoes."
And that's when you sort of knew, okay, like Ja's a great guy to try to market these things.
For sure.
So
again, these shoes gifted to Drew on the same weekend that EYBL was in town at the Memphis Sports and Events Center. That's Nike's AAU circuit. 200 plus teams, 400 coaches were in the building. Drew, you wrote about this event that came over to the Memphis Sports and Events Center in Liberty Park. We had Team Thad's Norton Hurd IV, the coach on the program, director on the program last week. What did you think about the program this weekend?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was great that so many people were there. I was there Friday morning, and you know, the parking was already so full that the Sprinter vans were just like lined up down the street. And you know, kids were walking in, smelling the barbecue from Barbecue Fest as they're walking into the gym. It's great to have a center like that. It's great to have a place like this. You know, Memphis was maybe a little bit slower in getting a space to host these tournaments like this. This is really, in my opinion, part of the next evolution of high school basketball in this city. And I say that because, you know,
a lot of our best players get pulled.
They get pulled. They
yeah.
get pulled to prep schools. And I spent some time talking to several different coaches and parents of players over the weekend, and all of them sort of said the same thing. Is like, you know, the day and age where Alex Lomax and Tyler Harris and all these people played in the city. It's those days have passed, right? Like you just don't. There's talented kids. Don't get me wrong. There's very talented kids. I know Bartlett has an unbelievable team. So don't get me wrong. But those kids get recruited by these prep schools now, so it's harder to keep them here. And having a big AAU event like this that is the next step in. It might be an evolution. It might be different. You know, you may not like it as much, but it is a big part in keeping high school basketball and putting Memphis on the map when it sort of relates to the high school game. So I thought it was great that they had it, great for the event center, and great for just the city in general.
For sure. We're going to talk more EYBL on the other side of the break. Got to say thank you to Drew for showing us the Ja 2s. You can read his writing over at the Daily Memphian.